brought Tom.
What an honor. Before I get started, I want to recognize some of my family and friends who made the trip out here today. My wife, Karen, is right there. We spent our first night in the desert together, right there, 36 years ago. My daughter right next to her, she's moving around. Katie, where are you?
Right there.
Right in front of you.
She's normally so much taller than that. My friend and my longtime friend and neighbor, and you'll appreciate this, Assemblymember Gonzalez. Jack was the business manager of the Teamsters 36 before Art. Lorena is a Teamster 36, Jack. I don't know if you knew that. Thank you so much for coming. Newly elected County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher. And my friend, Dr. Murtaza Baksamusa, who formed Muslims for the Cross as part of the protest for this. Thank you so much, Doc, and his lovely daughters, Sakina and Naria. Lee Schick there in the back. That's the best man at his wedding. The second one. How's that working out? Great. And his dad, Dick. So as I got up this morning and I started to put my thoughts together about this rededication service, I had an amazing flood of memories. Then it was boosted this afternoon by my sister with a call as there was a request for some additional photos from the Channel 7's going to run tonight. Jim Bruce Robinson was the only son of my grandparents, Nancy Ann and Elmo Bruce. He was preceded in death by his sister Patty, and only my mom Yvonne survives. I think it's appropriate that I tell you my middle name is also Bruce. Sadly, and I'm gonna get choked up, guys, my only living memory of him was Christmas of '65, just before he shipped out to Vietnam. I remember him showering my older sister, Debbie, and I with gifts and an unbelievable amount of attention. That being said, after going to high school in Julian, as Borrego Springs at the time only had K through 8, he followed my mom and our young family to Pensacola, Florida, where he ultimately joined the Army. After boot camp and jump school, he was assigned to the 82nd Airborne, and with the Cold War just warming up, the All-Americans were sent into in Santo Domingo, in the Dominican Republic, where he was there for the whole tour over there. Soon after, towards the end of '65, he got his orders for Vietnam, where he served with the Screaming Eagles of the 101st Airborne. Barely in the country for 2 months. At the age of 21, he was killed by sniper fire. His Bronze Star citation talks about a firefight, subsequent patrol, where he was part of the reconnaissance team that valiantly fought to bring back wounded soldiers who were still in the field and were still under sniper fire. After his burial at Fort Rosecrans in San Diego, the community of Ocotillo Wells came together on April 3rd, 1966, and erected, according to the Borrego Sun, the local paper, a gleaming white memorial cross on the hill. This would become a community memorial. He, along with Helen Pratt and Elaine Lewis, were memorialized according to the article. Since that day, this has been a very special place, a constant reminder of sacrifice and love. Worth noting, the memorial cross is clearly situated from my grandparents' house, right there on the corner, and was framed with the Gold Star banner as you looked out across the desert and saw the cross. It was a poignant reminder of what ultimate sacrifice looks like. So decades pass, the cross becomes a landmark, everybody says the cross. This road actually was called the Old Ladies Course. It just became an institution in Ocotillo Wells for all the right reasons. But then something phenomenal happened. Other folks felt the connection to the cross, the memorial, and started putting plaques and scratching their names and spreading ashes of loved ones. And almost 2 years ago, someone made a complaint to the county and basically suggested that a cross shouldn't be on county property. And this amazing woman from here in Ocotillo Wells, Sherry Kukla, that heard stories about my uncle, and she tracked me down of all things through Facebook. Together, we have touched almost every detail of this amazing community effort. We reached out to the county, the state, the federal government, and this is a great opportunity to put a heartfelt thanks to Supervisor Bill Horn, who, I gotta say, in my professional career, sometimes I say some things to electeds that aren't always well received, and put all that aside, and he focused, as did Duncan Hunter. They were all stalwarts, both in action and effort. Sherry put together an online petition, gathered over 10,000 signatures. I can't remember who first made the initial contact with Roger Byron at First Liberty. But once that happened, the pieces started falling together. Make sure I didn't miss a page, guys. Roger had a deep relationship with the National American Legion. And fortunately, under the leadership of Commander Brent Restad, they showed interest. By the way, Commander, you looked amazing yesterday on the parade. I go, hey, that guy's going to be at Ocotillo Wells tomorrow as I watched the show. So that was terrific. Commander Restad put the closing details in the capable hands of San Diego's Commander Chris Yates. And Chris likes to work alone. I don't know if you guys, sometimes Chris just kind of holds stuff together, but Chris had all the answers every time I had a question. He was already a step ahead of me with the process in the county. He put all the logistics coordination together and brought it home. Chris?
That's funny.
Hurrah!
And then after the transfer was complete, the 60-day waiting period was over. Everything was in line. American Legion Post Commander Rick Dobbins and his amazing ground crew put together fundraising. They prepared the soil. They changed the road here. By the way, I haven't quite done it yet, but I am eventually going to be able to jump from this side to that side because that road is so smooth. Thank you for that, guys. Amazing volunteers. In that volunteer group, and this really touched me, was Doc Pratt. His grandfather was part of the original raising of the cross. You heard me talk about his grandmother, Helen. She had passed away early '66. Thank you, brother, and thank you, Roger. Roger's over there. These guys, it was windy, it was nasty. These guys just stayed on it, and you see what you've got. Somehow, Murchison, I'm missing my last page. Did I take both sets of copies? But I'm just going to say, I know what it was. It's really the thank yous. It was thank you for the community. Thank you for the volunteer fire department. Thank you to the American Legion Post. Thank you to the electeds. Thank you to everyone who put the time and effort to remember my uncle who made the ultimate sacrifice. And thank you for those of you who have a connection to these type of memorials because of your own connection with your family members. I appreciate all you being here, and on behalf of my family, we're eternally grateful and humble. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Before I bring up our next speaker, I also want to express